Hello, my loves. Look who I have here. Of course, I have Fredward, and I have the Raven, and we have Kitty joining us. They actually go with tonight's story. So tonight's episode is about Edgar Allan Poe. We're actually going to talk about 5 great theories behind Edgar Allan Poe's death. Because it's motherfucking creepy, don't you think? It's still a mystery today on how he died. Like, we still do not know the exact cause of his death. So, we're gonna dive into it a little bit. It's good to be back. I haven't done any episodes for, I think it's been at least a couple, 3-4 weeks maybe. I was really sick, had a lot going on health-wise, a lot going on music-wise. I'm actually filming a music video right now, so things are getting really busy again. But I'm going to try my hardest to keep the episodes coming, and there's a chance that they might get switched to Monday nights, but regardless, I'll try to always have a new one up for you Sunday or Monday nights, so just keep that in mind. Edgar Allan Poe is literally like one of my favorite writers. The man's brain is hauntingly beautiful, and that's putting it real light. He's just amazing. Kind of reminds me of my best friend, Plaxton Emmons. He lives in Mississippi, and he has a beautiful, spooky mind too. He is also a writer that was heavily or highly influenced by Edgar Allan Poe. I actually have 2 of his books. I've only read the one. I still need to read the other. And he's currently working on his 5th book. You guys should check out his stuff. You can find his books on Amazon.com, or you can look him up on Facebook. At the end of this video, I'll have a little info for you that you can check out and find his books and maybe look him up and say hello on Facebook. So, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get started. Now, this is called 5 Great Theories Behind Edgar Allan Poe's Death. Okay, Edgar Allan Poe was one of the most recognized poets of the 19th century. On January 19, 1809, he was born in Boston, Massachusetts, USA. An American poet, critic, and writer, his horror and mystery tales initiated the modern detective story. Poe wrote poems, and his most celebrated work includes his poem, The Raven, which is actually one of my favorites, and that is why I have The Raven here. Both critics and the general public absolutely admired The Raven. It is one of the best. If you haven't read it yet, you gotta check it out. Poe died on October 7th, 1849. No aspect of Poe's life was so fascinating as that of his death. It turned out that his death was as mysterious as his stories. This mystery still today needs to be solved. You know what, maybe it's pretty fitting that since he invented the whole detective story thing, he left us with a real life mystery. I kind of feel like, who else would do it this way, you know? Had to be Poe. On October 3rd, 1849, Edgar Allan Poe, in a frenzy, was found in Baltimore, Maryland. He was wearing clothes that did not belong to him. After being taken to the Washington College Hospital, no one could comprehend how he ended up being like this. When he was in the hospital, he never gained enough consciousness to explain how he became in such a condition. Poe died at about 5 p.m. Even though his death certificate states phrenitis or brain swelling as the cause of death, no one believes it to be true. As a result, numerous speculations and theories regarding his death were made. Here, most of Poe's death theories are going to be covered. There actually is a lot more than 5, but we're going to cover the 5 biggest ones. The top theories behind Edgar Allan Poe's death. Number 1, alcohol theory. He liked to drink, okay? Death due to alcohol is one of the most popular theories about the death of Edgar Allan Poe. During his final days, those around the writer are sure that Poe drank himself to death. It is no mystery that the author did drink a lot. R.H. Stoddard states in his memoir, "It was believed that in Baltimore he drank with a friend while waiting between trains, in consequence of which he took a wrong train and proceeded as far as Havre de Grace, whence he was brought back to Baltimore by the conductor of Philadelphia train in a state bordering on delirium. This theory was criticized because it fails to explain why Poe had disappeared for 5 days before his death and how he ended up in clothes that were not his. That's a big part of the mystery. Like, where the hell was he for 5 days, and who the hell's clothes was he wearing? Don't get me started. I don't know what happened. I want to know. I think we all do. Number 2, carbon monoxide poisoning. Albert Donnet, a public health researcher in 1999, took clippings of Poe's hair and tested them for certain heavy metals. His tests were indecisive and, as a result, were refuted by historians. He believed that the author's death resulted from carbon monoxide poisoning from coal gas used for indoor lighting at those times. Very good possibility. Number 3, brain tumor. A theory that explains his behavior before his death is the brain tumor theory. They built the statue 26 years after his death, honoring Poe, the famous author. In addition, they also dug up his coffin to move his remains to the new place. One of the workers started a mass rolling around inside Poe's skull. Okay. Matthew Pearl was quite intrigued by this mass. He had written a novel about Edgar Allan Poe's death. After contacting a forensic pathologist, he found out that the lump couldn't be his brain, but could be a tumor that could calcify after death into hard masses. Number 4 theory, flu. Another, less sinister theory, Poe's death suggests that the author might have succumbed to the flu. According to newspaper reports, the flu might have later on turned into pneumonia. It was raining in Baltimore at the time when Poe was in Baltimore. Chris Sempter believes that this may be the reason why the author was in someone else's clothes when he was found. Nah, that still doesn't make any sense. Still doesn't answer the question why he had someone else's clothes on. According to him, the cold and the rain infuriated the flu, leading to pneumonia. His delusions and hallucinations before death may result from the high fever he was suffering from. I guess that's a good possibility. I mean, back then, people did die of things, just the flu. I mean, people still die of the flu, but you know what I mean? Back then, it was even more. Number 5, murder. Frederick. Yes, I said murder. This theory has come to light recently and has become popular with Poe's fans since it involves a murder plot. This theory came forward by author John Evangelist Walsh, who wrote the book Midnight Dreary, The Mysterious Death of Edgar Allan Poe in 2000. The theory started blaming Poe's death on the brothers of his wealthy fiancée, Elmira Shelton. She may have murdered him. While Poe was in Philadelphia, he argued that his fiancé's 3 brothers ambushed him and warned poor Poe against marrying their sister. What adds more suspicion is that the attending physician, John Moran, was convinced that he was not drunk. Edgar Allan Poe was frightened by this, and Poe disguised himself in someone else's clothes and hid in Philadelphia for about a week before returning to Richmond to marry Shelton. Her brothers caught him in Baltimore, beat him, forced him to drink whiskey, which they knew would ultimately lead to his death. None of the theories about Edgar Allan Poe's death have been confirmed. The writer's cause of death is still a mystery. Various sources say that the end of Edgar Allan Poe was almost as grim as one of his own gruesome stories that he wrote with his beautiful, spooky brain. Yeah. Now, I know that in this little thing that the little article that I just read, it doesn't say in there, I read on another article, it says that as he was laying in the street in Baltimore, it was pouring rain. So he's laying there, he's in somebody else's clothes, and he's hollering someone else's name. It's a guy's name. For the love of Pete, it left my brain what the name was. I'm sure many of you listening, if you're a Poe fan, you know what it was. But he was hollering for this guy. To this day, nobody knows who the hell that guy was. they don't know what the correlation is between Edgar Allan Poe and the guy that he's hollering for. That's a bit creepy, just on its own. That one fact right there literally gives me chills up my spine. So, Edgar Allan Poe, I want to know, I want you guys to put in the comments, what's your favorite story or short story or poem that Edgar Allan Poe has written? For me, I would have to say The Raven, Nevermore. The Tall Tale Heart is absolutely one of my most favorites. That story gives me life. I don't know. It's creepy as all hell, but it also serves as a lesson. As a lesson, I think is where I was going with that. Yeah, serves as a lesson for learning to feel bad about things that you do. You know, having a conscience, basically. So yeah, let me know in the comments what your favorite Poe form of art is. We'll just call it art, because that's what it really is. I don't think in our lifetimes we're ever going to see another writer as great as Edgar Allan Poe. Shakespeare is another favorite of mine, but Poe, yes, because of my love for spooky stuff, he is absolutely perfect. Okay, one quick thing before I go. I wanted to show you guys, we got some of my merch in, and I really wanted you to see it. So, okay, I'm gonna pull this up quick. It's kind of fuzzy, I don't know if you can see it, but this is one of the hats that we have. It says Amber Ray, and it's got my logo on it for Amber Ray fans, because besides this, I also sing, write music. Excuse me, I'm an actress, and I do some art and some modeling. I do all kinds of stuff. I love the entertainment world. So this is one of the merch items that you could totally sport if you wanted to show your support. We got that. For my spooky people that love to read books, oh my god, this is full of fingerprints. Let's just wipe that off a little bit right there. I don't know. Oh, that's still terrible. Anyways, we got the Red Mistress with the bloody handprint, and it's a bookmark. It's actually the metal kind. So I do sell these on my merch store on the website. They are so freaking awesome. I love them. Very inexpensive for those who don't really have, you know, a lot in their budget. Then for my coffee drinkers, or I mean, whatever the hell you drink, you can put anything in here, whatever you want. Water, whiskey, tequila. This is the Red Mistress tumbler, and it is friggin' awesome. Metal cup. These are super nice. These are on my merch store too. So you got the spooky one for the Red Mistress, if you want to support that. Or we got the Amber Ray tumblers, where you support everything that I do. Basically, it's me. Anything that I do, so you support it. And yep, that's all I got for now. I did get a couple of sweatshirts and some t-shirts and stuff, but I think I've already shown some of those off. So check out my merch store. I will put the website in the bio area. Well, I don't know if it's bio area on YouTube, but under the description area, I'll place the website in there, and you gotta check out the merch store. It's so cool. I would love it if you would be able to sport some of my merch. I'm having trouble talking today. If you would sport some of my merch to support me and the channel, so we can keep going with all this stuff and get better and better as we go along. Okay, like I said earlier, make sure to put in the comments your favorite Poe art, whatever it was, whether it was a poem, a short story, whatever you got. I want to know all about it. Also, if you have your own theory on Poe's death, I want to hear about that, because this is so interesting to me. I don't know. I feel like any one of those 5 could be the real deal. Like, any of that shit could have happened. Know what I'm saying? Yeah. Times are weird now, but they were fucking crazy back then. Woo. Very much so, you know? Anyways, it's Sunday night. It's a new week. I want to wish you good health, good fortune. Stay spooky. And hopefully I'll see you this next Sunday or Monday. Okay? All right. Everybody have a great week. Have a great night. I love you. Bye. good to be back.